What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Masters Physique Network. And today on our call, on our chat, we have one of the greats in the Masters League men's physique category, Kevin Reeder. A little bit about what I know about him: three-time, not one time, not two, three-time Masters Olympian, qualified competitor, Kevin Reeder. Kevin, go ahead and give the audience a quick intro about yourself, who you are, kind of how you got started in the league, and bring us up to date on where you are today.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I want to let everybody know I truly appreciate what you're doing. This is something that needs to be done. So hats off to you once again.
Appreciate you.
Salute.
Appreciate you.
Again, we need more people like you in this field for masters. Granted, I mean this is for the sport in general, but masters is part of that sport, so we don't need to be forgotten. Um,
Absolutely.
so a little bit about me. I started bodybuilding. I was about 43 years old. So I started out in masters, and I came in. I had a coach, man. I love this guy, man. Matt Porter. He passed away. God
Oh,
rest his
wow.
soul. He owned MPA Subs. So really, really good dude. Really smart cat, man. And he I actually started out with a buddy of mine, Daniel Stuckert, at first, and then when I actually got to the national level in NPC, um, uh, I ran into Matt. Actually, spoke with his wife online before, and
Got you.
because I used to watch his content a lot,
Mm.
and the day I turned pro was the day I met Matt. And Matt was like, "Man, I would love to work with you." And I was like, "Oh my God, I couldn't believe I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
met him." I was like, "Dude, you
yeah.
are my idol, like
That was a
really."
sign.
And yeah, it was definitely a sign, man. And it was really cool. And he ended up passing away.
Mm.
And so I was probably a day out from a show out in Denver,
Man,
the
man.
Mile High Pro show. But he had set a plan before, and that's just that's the crazy part, because you
Mm.
never know when. We
Yeah,
none of us,
yeah.
man, walking this earth,
Absolutely.
we don't know when that last day is gonna come. And he set a plan, man, and that was his last day, and I followed that plan to the T.
Wow.
Um, and to this day, man, I still hear him in my head. I
Wow.
still listen to some of the things that he's actually taught me. Great dude, man. Matt Porter again. So I ended up getting a few coaches from there. But I spoke to someone about my current coach, and I've been with him for probably, man, I want to say maybe 5 years
Okay.
now. Matt Berzicott, and
Got you.
this dude is awesome, man. I mean, he's low key, but he is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
very, very intelligent, man.
Nice.
Extremely intelligent guy, man, when it comes down to the business of bodybuilding and what to look for and how to navigate through
Hmm. Hmm.
all aspects: water, food,
Wow. Yeah,
training,
yeah.
everything, man. So he's just an awesome guy. So hats off to him too. Um, so we set out a plan, and that
Hmm.
plan was to, of course, as a master, we kind of a lot of guys want people to understand. Hey, yeah, I might be older, but I'm not that old. I can still
Yeah,
hang with the young bucks. Okay,
yeah, for sure.
so we set out a plan to say, okay, we want to be seen. So the plan was to be seen, was to do
Mm.
more master shows, get seen by the judges, then start jumping into the open classes.
Got you.
Um, and so that's what I did. I set out to do that. And each year, man, I just jumped in more and more master shows. Um, and coming from obviously the amateur level, again, I've always said, this turning pro could actually hurt your career if you're not careful.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, man.
because it'll crush your ego,
Yeah,
honestly.
for sure.
Like coming in as NPC, from NPC, and going to the pros, you think, hey, I won, I'm top dog. No, you're
Yeah.
not. No, you're
Bottom of the
not.
food chain. Bottom of the food chain.
The bottom of the food chain. You are
Yeah.
absolutely correct. So this is something you have to grow into,
Hmm.
and I had to grow into it, man. And so I did that through masters, and then I
Nice.
start winning. I start winning shows, and the more and more shows that I won, the more confident I got. I started jumping in open, and the Master Olympia came, and
Nice.
that was great. I made it there. The first one, you were picked to go, which was, I
Hmm.
was still blessed, very blessed to be
For
picked to
sure.
go. But the second one, I qualified,
Nice.
and so this third one coming up in 27 was qualified,
Nice. There you go.
so it's been one of my, that's my thing, man, to set out and say, okay, I may not I'm 57 years old. If for
Nice.
some of you that don't know,
Yeah.
but at 57 years old, I may not make it to the Open,
Mm.
and that's okay as long as I can make it to the Masters. I'm good. But I still compete in Open class.
Nice.
I still, the last few shows, I'm still placing in the top 10 in
There you
Open
go.
class.
There you
So
go.
at 57 years old, I am blessed. I am great to be able to do that and conquer that goal at 57. My goal is not, granted, if I win, hey man, that's a plus.
Yeah, for sure.
That is a major, major plus for me if I should happen to win an open class. But I never set out to do that. I just want to place in the top 10. So and honestly, I never set out to, for me, I love the sport so much. I never set
Hmm.
out to actually win, believe it or
Hmm.
not. What I do is set out to look my best,
Yeah, for sure.
look better than I did before. It's not up to
Absolutely.
me, man. Those judges, man, they can pick whoever they choose to pick. I can't, it's not my thing.
Yeah,
That's just something that I look at and go, hey, man, it depends on who they want for that day, I guess,
it's true. It's true.
So that's not anything that I tend to worry about so much
Hmm.
as far as winning. But if I should happen to win, then hey, that's an extra cookie afterwards,
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Excellent,
That
man. I mean,
that's
that sounds like a thorough, experience as far as jumping in when you did in your 40s at that, and then having the success that you've had. There's no doubt that, you had physique for the sport, you got the structure for the category, and the hard work that you've put in, in those years has placed you in the position that you're in right now. What's the highest you've placed at the Masters Olympias? So you got two under your belt so far, one coming up next year. What's the highest placement
yeah.
you've gotten out of the two shows?
So the first show I placed 15th,
Okay,
and then last year in Japan I placed 12th.
there you go.
So I'm climbing down.
Yeah, yeah,
I got to get to the head judge and see what his takes on my look, which is Steve, obviously, on
got
my
you.
look, and so I haven't done that yet, but I will. I plan on reaching out to him
Nice.
and seeing what I can do to make myself better. But that's one of, and here's the thing, man. In all honesty,
Mm,
like right now, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm only working on the weak parts for
absolutely.
me
Yeah.
to make myself a well-rounded person. You know, again, I would go in, one day I do chest, one day I do back, one day I do hamstrings and
Mm,
glutes, one day I do quad. No, now I'm working on strictly back and legs.
nice. There you
Back
go.
and legs. And granted, men's physique, sure, we don't necessarily show legs. We wear board shorts, but you see those
Yeah, yeah.
legs in those shorts.
It's true. You definitely see
So
the shape.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so you see the shape, and that's what I'm working on right now.
Got you.
So back twice a week and legs twice a week.
That's
So
solid. That
I'm
sounds solid.
crushing it. Yeah,
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 and being and rising in the ranks is just how it is. Sometimes you got to keep you chipping away and you're getting higher. So you're definitely trending in the right direction. We're excited to see where you fall when it comes to 2027. I have no doubt you'll splash into that top 10. It sounds like you're trending, so I can absolutely expect that. But your mentality is correct as far as how you go about it. I'm the exact same way. I've been competing for about 4 or 5 years now. I'm a professional as well, and I'm always just trying to bring my very best. That's as long as I can show everyone and to myself that look, I'm improving every single time. It doesn't matter, how long it's been since I've been on stage. When I get back, it's going to be better. And I think by just doing
thanks.
that, you ultimately put yourself in a position to have the universe bring you whatever's meant to be yours, in
Yes,
that time
sir.
period.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah, in that time period, if it's meant to be your win, then you've put in the work and you've prepared yourself and you are better than you were last, and therefore those stars align. So your mentality is right on point. But I'm gonna use that as an opportunity to kind of segue to our next segment here. You spoke about being a master's for pretty much a majority of your entire bodybuilding career. Obviously, we know that we've seen certain levels of discrepancy that exist in the sport. And we've mentioned there's no knock on the sport as a whole. We bodybuild because we love to compete. We're in the IFBB and the NPC because we love the league. But ultimately, that doesn't mean that we don't have opinions and we don't see things that don't stand out as such tasteful things. And I would say that the treatment of masters, in our opinion, is one of those things. From your experience, what are some things that you've firsthand experience or seen that has stood out to you as being somewhere up there as one of the topics that kind of gets you the most fired up when it comes to discrepancies that you see amongst masters categories?
Um, oh, that's a good question. uh, so I think for me, honestly, bro, like I don't I try not to look into a lot of that what goes on, man. I mean, it is what it is. I show up, I do my thing, and I enjoy life afterwards, so I just think what needs to happen for masters is to just be seen more notoriety.
Gotcha.
It's the funny thing because as masters, we're the only one that are paying to
Yeah,
to come and compete. you know.
man, tell me about
Uh,
it. Yeah.
so I think it's just kind of like when I even look at the Master Olympia versus the Open
Hmm.
class, right?
Hmm.
Uh, which is totally free for them, obviously. And that's free for us. We don't pay for that. I don't believe. I don't think I paid anything. But look at what we get. Like these cats get like plush sweatsuits, bags. They
Yeah.
get. We don't necessarily get that, and so our stuff looks a little bit different.
Hmm.
And honestly, like that was the whole point of me. Sure, I wanted to reach that goal but
Absolutely.
I wanted that sweatsuit, man.
You
I
wanted the
wanted that
experience.
sweatsuit
Yeah.
bad. I
Yeah,
wanted
man.
the experience
Absolutely.
of all of it, press conference, all of that,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
so I just think that this sport itself needs to. And granted, thank God they brought the Master Olympia back.
Hmm.
So I'm grateful for that. And I don't want to seem ungrateful. I just think that it needs to be looked at as we're still athletes,
Hmm.
and we work just as hard. Actually, in fact, I think we work harder
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
harder for us to maintain the muscle that we have
Absolutely,
versus
brother.
being young and doesn't have to work that hard.
Absolutely, brother.
So
Absolutely.
I think we should be celebrated for what we do and where we are in our lives, because you think about it, somebody that's coming in as 25 years old may not have a
Mhm.
family, may not have a career, may
Yeah.
not have, he's just living life probably off his mom and dad,
Yeah.
and just kind of doing his thing, and that's great.
Yeah.
Not knocking it,
Yeah.
because I wish that was me when I was younger, but it wasn't.
Absolutely, right? That was a good life, right?
Yeah, it's a good life, man. But maintaining a career,
True.
maintaining a family, and we know how
Mm.
hard this is on a family. Um, so it's rough on everybody,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
we do it and we show up, and we
Absolutely.
because we love the sport.
Hmm.
It does so much for us, honestly, man. Why people don't, some people that are not in the sport don't really know. It helps me mentally, you
Oh yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So mentally, man, it sets me like free,
I get
to
it.
be able to just focus on me, because my life has been focused on family for so much, and so long, that I don't know how to focus on me. And this gave
Yeah.
me me.
Yeah.
This put me back in a perspective of looking at what's good for Kevin,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Absolutely. I get
needed it.
that.
Yeah, I definitely needed that. Yeah, yeah.
And
So
it makes perfect sense. I mean, the perspective that you're coming from is not, like you said, it's not from a spot of being ungrateful. It's not from a spot of feeling as though that what you do have you're not appreciative of. But one thing that you said that did stand out to me, and I think that this should be the case across the board as far as standard being raised. You said something along the lines of we work just as hard. You mentioned things about the regular Olympia in comparison to the Masters Olympia experience. But one thing that you didn't add to your statement is that yes, you guys are all athletes, but you are a professional athlete. You know what I'm saying? You are not just an athlete. You're not an amateur in this sport. You have earned the right to call yourself an IFBB professional. So, with that being the baseline of where we're looking at things, I think the standard needs to be raised for the Masters based off of that alone. You know what I mean?
I
Alone.
agree totally. Yeah,
You're
I
putting in
totally
the
agree.
same work that any other athlete would. You're sacrificing things potentially more than any other athlete would, younger than you. But the experience, the recognition isn't the same, if I heard what you
Right,
said correctly.
right, right,
And
right,
that's something that
right,
is so simple to give, but unfortunately has been something that's been so remiss. And that's kind of what Masters Physique Network is attempting to do. We're attempting to give all the masters the recognition that they deserve. There's certain
right,
pages out there that are just for one category. I just do bikini, or I just do classic
right,
physique, and we're all of them. And
right,
with that
right,
work that comes with that, my wife and I, we willingly take on that work, in that effort to make sure you all get the recognition you deserve. And we have big
right.
plans of where we want to see the sport go. So I'll end it with that with you. I'm going to actually end it with the request that I usually ask a lot of people at the end, because we're dreamers. Ultimately, we're builders. We're trying to create a better future, leave something better, where we are for the people coming behind us, because there will be masters competitors coming behind us, and we want to make sure we build something beautiful. I end with the question of, what's one or two things that you wish you could see happen for the masters category within the next 5 years, that you think would make the entire experience of being a Masters pro athlete or an NPC athlete better.
Honestly, like I'm a simple guy, so I
Hmm.
again I go back to recognition.
There you go.
A lot of us don't need a lot. It's not, especially masters. Most of us have worked careers our entire lives. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in 40s and 50s, some of us 60 years
Hmm.
old. So in the brink of retirement. So we don't need, it's not money that we necessarily need. Granted, money's always good, but it's
Absolutely.
not it's
Yeah.
not something that we necessarily need. But
Makes
it's just
sense.
sometimes it's just a pat on the back, Here, and I'll tell you, it's really rough, man, when it seems like you put on a great show, but you're not appreciated.
Yeah, I feel that.
Appreciation is goes a long way, and it's
I feel
free,
that. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
free. It doesn't
Absolutely.
cost anything, but just
Yeah.
appreciate and show some love. That's all it is, man. I mean, listen, this sport, like I said, this sport is hard. It is very hard, but to just show some love and appreciation for you bringing yourself to promoters, and there are a lot of promoters that actually do that, man. I mean, they
Yeah.
love to see athletes, master athletes, because here's the thing: even when it comes to the IFBB itself, the league, as pro masters, we also bring a different mentality,
Absolutely.
which looks very good for the league, by the way. The younger guys, yeah, they can go out and they can wild out a little bit. They can,
Yeah.
smoke and do all the stuff they want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's not something, even if as a master you do that, that's not something that we actually promote. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
most of us
Makes
are at
sense.
a level now that we just don't promote the childlike stuff that we're grown. We're
Yeah.
grown adults and we
Yeah.
act
Yeah.
that way. So
Absolutely.
so so we are the ones that help the sport look really good to say, hey, these are people first, but athletes that care and care about themselves, how they look, how they represent themselves, how they represent the sport, you
Mm.
know. So, and not to say that there are not people that do that, but mostly masters we really do, because we're at a level of maturity where it doesn't, that's not us anymore.
It doesn't
We
exist.
don't
Yeah.
we don't care to do all that partying and all that. That's just
Yeah.
not who we are.
I get it.
So I honestly, like, I'm very blessed, and I'm glad I came in to the sport at the age I did.
Mm.
Honestly, before that I didn't know. And hats off, I had to give shouts out to Daniel Stuckert, who got me into sport, and Trey Brewer. I
Nice.
don't know if you know Trey Brewer. Trey was a beast, man, back in the day. So, but hats off to him. I
Mm.
love those guys. Um, but they got me into sport, and when I got into it, it was just hey, can I do it? Can
Yeah.
I just do the diet? That was the hard
Yeah.
part,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so I did it, and it was like I might as well get on stage. So from there, I'm glad I did it when I did, and it helped me along the way that I didn't know it was going to help me, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's been a blessing ever since, man. And I just sometimes you just want the recognition, a pat on the back, to say, hey, man, great job. And here's the thing,
Hmm.
in all honesty, this is what I'm talking about, what you're doing
Yeah.
right now. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of these people out here that are doing these bodybuilding pages or what,
Hmm.
they don't interview masters.
Yeah.
They want
They
the
don't,
open
man.
folks. They
They
want the
don't.
open folks. They don't
Yeah.
interview me. I did a show. I won. I won. And there was a couple folks out there. I won't mention any names. A couple
Yeah.
folks
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there doing some interviews. They never came to me.
Wow.
And
Wow.
this was this year. I
Yeah.
won. First
Wow.
place, 40 class masters, going back to the Master Olympia in 2027. And you
Yeah.
didn't come and interview me.
Wow.
So I again, hats off to you. And I'm thankful and grateful for you for doing what you're doing, because again, you're the only one that's doing it right now.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are not, they are not interviewing masters as they should.
Mm.
And that's the appreciation part, you
Yeah.
know? And,
Yeah.
and and so that's what I love, and my heart
Absolutely.
opens up to you, brother. And anything you
Absolutely.
need from me, I'm here. All you gotta do is ask, and I'll do my very best to get it done.
Kevin, man, I appreciate that. I'm going to extend the appreciation as well from my better half, my wife, the partner in this business, Jennifer. She was on the call today. I conduct the interviews, but I extend her appreciation as well, and also the appreciation for you making the time today to just be on this call, have this conversation. Masters Physique Network is definitely standing in place to do whatever we can to give the appreciation and the recognition that the masters deserve, but we're definitely going to do even more if we can to make sure that you all are recognized as a whole. We're going to make sure the league knows who these masters competitors are, regardless of your success level. Because, like you mentioned, you guys are stepping outside of a box of already have accomplished so much, already have so much on your plate, to then sacrifice that time to prep for a show and step on stage bringing your very best package, in which I have yet to see a package that I think was not truly worked hard for to bring to the stage when it comes to a Masters competitor. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up there, man. Everyone who has watched it, this has been one of the better conversations that I've had so far with IFBB Pro Masters competitor men's physique Kevin Reeder. Appreciate you once again for being on the show. You all tune in to the next one. We'll be doing plenty of interviews like these going into the future, as well as athlete spotlights on the page. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment. We're going to make sure we put Kevin's Instagram page somewhere right here on the screen so you guys can make sure you follow him as well. Other than that, y'all have a good one.